Bonsoir. I'm wearing 4 sets of lashes, so every time I blink, my tear ducts feel like Arya right before she's about to get on that boat to leave Bravos, and she goes on a leisurely stroll through the city, even though there's an entire cult of faceless assassins out for her blood, and she gets approached by a kindly old lady on that bridge above that river, and she turns around like, "Oh, you what, mate?" And it's the Wraith in disguise, and she just stomach shanks her because obviously. And it's like, Arya, when you know that people want to murder you, don't go for a walk. That's kind of what my tear ducts are going through right now. So these lashes might not last the entire video. Hey sis, my look today is a little more Barbie than Barbara, and that's because I have been listening to absolutely 100% nothing but Slater this week. Got a couple of her songs in my Codename Bops playlist in the description, which is a list of all of my favorite songs that I put together for anyone who ever wonders what music I listen to. My music taste is in fact immaculate, and you're welcome. It's sort of like if you combine a lot of deeper house music and a little bit of EDM with early Britney Spears. That's kind of where Slater is, and that's like literally if you could distill my personality into a music taste. That's it, so we stan. And so that's why I have massively Tana Mojo-ly overlined my lips and put on 4 lashes. And these clips that I just painted with nail polish. I don't really have a plan for this video. I started reading up about the Better Than Sex mascara, and I started remembering that when I first bought it, there'd been this claim on the box that it was going to give me 1,944% more volume to my lashes. As I was researching, I noticed this article talking about the fact that the NAD recommended that Too Faced stop saying that on their packaging because it was clearly fake. And according to Too Faced, it wasn't, and they had done actual math to figure it out. And then I started doing more research as to where that claim could have come from. And I found this interview that Jared Blandino did right after the launch of the Better Than Sex mascara, in which he explains why the wand shape is such that it is and why the name is such that it is. And he explained that both things were inspired by Marilyn Monroe. The hourglass shape of the wand is inspired by the hourglass shape of her body. And the name Better Than Sex is apparently a reference to when she was asked what it felt like to perform on Broadway for the first time. She said that it was better than sex. So building off of this, I assumed that the 1944 number was probably a reference to something in Marilyn Monroe's life. But I looked up her Wikipedia page, and I'm sure there's some Marilyn Monroe stan that will correct me, but it seems like her first film role wasn't until 1947, so like I don't really freaking know what that's about. Although it does appear that in 1944, when she was working in an air parts factory for the war effort, she was approached, or at that time in her life met, a photographer. And that, kind of jump-started her career. You could say that she was discovered in 1944. But according to Too Faced, the 1944 number is mathematically accurate. Like, what was the prototype testing for that product like? Like, I don't know how low your hypothesized performance for your new mascara formula needs to be to get results that are almost 2,000% better than originally estimated, but like, was the original conjecture that the Better Than Sex mascara would literally melt off your eyelashes, and then when it didn't, that was already 1,000% better than hypothesized? The extra 944, of course, is that when they were testing, in addition to the mascara not melting off the lashes, it also made them look halfway decent. So tack on an extra almost 1,000 on top of that. I just thought that was such a weird, obviously fake, or at least grossly overestimated percentage to put on the box. I can't imagine anyone actually wandering through Ulta wanting a new mascara and being like, "Oh George, let's buy this one because it says it's gonna make my lashes look 1,944% better than they currently do." That seems like an irresponsible amount of power. Translate that into any other circumstance. If a car was 1,944% better than its original model, it would be like it'd be like a TIE fighter. Like, what? I'm just eating pizza now. That's not what this video is about. Hi, I look regular again. I was very uncomfortable, so I took off the lashes. But I also started thinking about makeup memes. When he tells you you look better without makeup. When he asks if you're ready yet, and it shows you with like an unblended contour. But also the ones that are like, my face when I spent all my money at Sephora. That feel when you can't pay any of your bills because you spent all your money at Ulta. That feel when you're a complete slave to consumerism. That awkward moment when you realize that all other facets of your personality have dissolved away. It's weird. For some reason, I was only able to find examples from this from Violet Voss. And also Violet Voss themselves, to be fair, has not done this in a while. I had to scroll pretty far back to find them. I went a day without wearing makeup once. Longest day of my life. Can I get an amen, ladies? Isn't it just oppressively terrifying to walk out of your house without makeup on? Have people see your actual skin? And I can't relate. When my boyfriend asks me how much I spent at Sephora because I'm owned by the men in my life. Obviously, no, I'm kidding. I know that's not that serious. I talked about this one in a video already, but this one is so weird. Your ex versus me. I'm so much better at this makeup that you don't want me to spend my money on. It's just so weird when brands do stuff like this, where they'll post like relatable content so you feel like this company is your friend. And it's not just makeup brands that do this in any capacity. If you go on Twitter for more than 5 minutes, you'll see a quote from like Clorox and Wendy's clapping back at each other. Wasn't it like Sunny D tweeted, "I can't do this anymore," and other brands were quote tweeting it just like, "You can do it, Sunny D. Are you guys feeling anxious like Sunny D?" You know that relatable feel when you are just like so chemically depressed and you're so sad all the time? So sad that you just have to go out and eat a Big Mac? Oh, it's very, how do you do, fellow kids? I'm 2M person. Did you see my hilarious clap back? Would you like to come by my wares? It's weird. It's creepy to have this company joking about overspending and over-consuming makeup. You want me to do that. It's better for your business if I do that. You're not joking around with me. You're manipulating me into thinking like, it's just a cutesy little quirky character flaw if I spend entirely all of my money on makeup that I don't even end up using. You're right at cosmetics. Like, it's weird. I'm gonna start making memes like that for my Instagram. When my boyfriend asks me how many hours I spent watching Nisi Pisa videos. I also think that the behavior of a brand owner is a form of advertising. In brands where you know who the brand owner is, this can be a huge factor. We know Kat Von D is in charge of Kat Von D. We know Jared Blandino is in charge of Too Faced. We know that at a point, Doe Deer was in charge of Lime Crime. Robin Rihanna Fenty for Fenty. And the example I'm gonna talk about right now, Jefferson Starship for Jeffree Star Cosmetics. We've heard me playfully shade Jeffree Star several times on this channel. I don't think it's any secret that I'm not the most partial to good old Jefferson, but something happened recently that I wanted to chit chat about because, oh my God, what just a perfect example of a situation in which everybody made the absolute wrong choice for how to behave. So one of Jeffree Star's fans got a new job at Ulta, and which is awesome, getting your coint. And so they tweeted to Jeffree Star and said, "Hey sister, I got a new job at Ulta and my first day is when your collaboration brushes with AliExpress, I mean Morphe, are in store and I'm so excited." And Jeffree Star quote tweeted that with, you know, "Yes, we love employment. How are ya?" Or whatever he says. I don't know. And another fan of his replied to that tweet with a quote tweet of his makeup look with no other like text or message to it. You know, self-promoing messages like that are annoying. I get them sometimes, and I'm sure a lot of other larger people get them way more. They're obnoxious and I don't like them and I almost never acknowledge them. I get them in my comments sometimes. They're irritating. Jeffree Star then did what all of us would do in this scenario and absolutely suplexed this kid's confidence. This was what Jeffree Star replied to the self-promoting tweet. "You don't need to whore yourself out on every single post. I'm congratulating someone on a job. Why the frick are you making this about you? Bye. Maybe you'll learn some respect now that someone was honest with you. I never had to use anyone to get where I am. I was congratulating someone on achieving something and you made it about yourself. Can't relate. I have never in my life yelled at a girl like this. How dare you? Learn something from this. You don't know where the hell I come from. You don't know what I've been through. Take responsibility for yourself." So there's a chance that I may have ad-libbed a bit of that. But the first part of that was Jeffree's actual response to a fan of his who did a rude thing, an annoying thing that could easily have just been ignored. Jesus Christ. And this kid posted screenshots of that and said, I've been a fan of Jeffree Star for years, spent hundreds of my own hard-earned minimum wage dollars on his products, and to be humiliated in such a way doesn't feel good. I go to college, work, and do makeup, just trying to make something out of myself. I am crying. Now, your first mistake was being a fan of Jeffree Star. I just see this so frequently. I see these Jeffree Star stans who support him through literally every single controversy, every single scandal, and just make endless excuses for his terrible behavior. Then it gets turned on to them because he's a bully and he does stuff like this literally all the time. And they're like, please, Jeffree, I'm so sorry. I spent 2 months rent on buying every single blood sugar palette in stock so I could use it as tiles in my kitchen. I bought every single velour liquid lipstick so I could use the lipstick to paint all the walls in my house. Please, I'm so sorry. I went to my doctor and I had him replace my blood with liquid skin frost. I'm so sorry, Jeffree. In today's episode of What Did You Think Was Gonna Happen? It happened this time. It happened twice with that porcelain girl. That time after that girl who worked at Sephora leaked how much money he had spent at Sephora in a year, which was a terrible invasion of privacy that should not be done. It doesn't matter who Jeffree Star is, that was fricked up. But then there was one of his fans that commented on one of his tweets where he was like, I'm gonna have you fired, I'm gonna have you sued, I'm gonna have your house confiscated, I'm going to eat your soul. One of his fans was like, yes, queen, get her. And Jeffree was like, how dare you? This is a serious time in my life and you are treating this as a recreational activity. I am a human being. Can't relate. Jeffree Star is literally young, successful, a multi-millionaire, so much money, so many resources, beautiful house, attractive boyfriend, cute dogs, friends. I feel like he may have found a solid permanent friend in Shane Dawson. It took a couple dozen tries to get Jeffree a long-term committed friend, but I think he did it now. Although speaking of Jeffree Star's friends, it's interesting to hear him say like, I never used anybody to get to where I am. I can't help but wonder where Jeffree Star Cosmetics would be as a brand if Jeffree had never been friends with Kat Von D. Let's not give Queen Rubella too many cookies. Let's continue. Above all of the other great things of Jeffree Star's life, he's also busy. He's an excellent business person. In addition to running Jeffree Star Cosmetics and being the creative mind behind it, he also runs like fulfillment centers for other brands. He's booked and busy, literally. How do you have time to be on Twitter getting this incensed by so many things? He got on his Instagram story the next morning and continued talking about this. He posted 2 separate like 2-minute stories that ended up being about 5 minutes of it being like, this was rude, this was like somebody butted in on my personal conversation and was just like talking about themselves. He said that this sort of thing where people leave him self-promoting tweets happens all the time. So what then, this time, was the reason for individually plucking out every single one of this kid's edges with your 2-tweet response? Again, I think what that kid did was rude and annoying, and I really don't like self-promoting comments like that. I don't mind them when people are like, oh, I made a video about this thing that you mentioned in this video. That's fine. But when I've had people literally just link their channels in my comment section. I've had people be like, anyone want to support a small creator? Yeah, that's why they're watching me right now. It's annoying. And I do think he had a point, but he could have just been like, hey, this is a little bit annoying. This moment is sort of about this person and their new job. It's a bit inappropriate for you to self-promote under here. Or he could have said nothing. Oh God, and then the saddest part was like, I looked at the tweet underneath the tweet that that kid wrote, like, I'm crying right now. Never in my life have I been so attacked. All my life I had to fight, or whatever he said. Underneath that, he posted a picture of the Jeffree Star and Morphe brush set that had just arrived at his house. It came like the day that this happened with Jeffree. What kind of gift of the Magi tragic coincidence is that? That is Shakespearean, my guy. That would be like for me if the minute I got home from going to Sephora and buying the new Fenty Kilowatt What a Brat highlighter after my no-buy is over, I got on Twitter and I find out that Rihanna like doxed me or something. There were other Jeffree Star fans in that kid's comments like, well, you know what Jeffree's like. Why did you even tweet at him on the first place? Is he a dragon? Like, is he a feral cat in an alley that you're not supposed to get too close to? He's a person. And more than that, he's an adult And more than that, he's so rich. I can't imagine being that rich and being that pressed over literally anything in my life. I tweeted about this, but like literally, buy an island. Take your private jet to said island and sit on that island until you are no longer upset about whatever is bothering you. This was a whole rant. I really wanted to talk about that because I think that was just absurd. Who acts like this? You're an adult! You don't need to do this, Jeffrey. Like, what was the reason? Clap back, queen. Can't relate. How are ya? Just, or whatever. But anyway, that was kind of all the makeup related stuff I wanted to talk about in this video. I knew that this was gonna be kind of a random disjointed thing, and I didn't want to force myself to think of other advertising things because I knew I would just end up saying something unresearched and unfounded, which is so rare for my channel. But before I sign off and go eat the second round of Italian food that I have, I wanted to talk about this new Jonas Brothers video. The Jonas Brothers reunited and dropped this absolute slapper called Sucker. The music video for it features all of their ladies, all of their gal pals. And you know, if this same concept for the video had happened in like 2008 when I was at the zenith of my thirst for the Jonas Brothers, I'd be furious. You know, I was such a jealous little bitch, a jealous little meatball child, that anytime there was a girl in the music videos of like the boy bands and pop stars I loved, I'd be angry. I stopped listening to Jesse McCartney because in the video for She's No You, there's a girl in it. And I was like, no, I'm supposed to be the girl. Who's this? Like, I was very angry. But now it's 20 by teen, okay? You're telling me I get to see two beautiful men and 3 beautiful women in the video together? Sign me the frick up. The song is great, but it reminded me of just how overzealous, I guess we'll say, I was in my thirst for Joe Jonas in between 2007 and 2009. I don't know how much about this I can say without getting instantly demonetized, but Joe Jonas was the start of something new for me, we'll say. I went to a Jonas Brothers concert in July of 2009. Gray skinny jeans, purple hoodie, lime green chucks. I was ready for lovin'. And I was in the 4th row, floor level 4th row. And during Burnin' Up, I was doing kind of like this move or whatever. And Joe, who was wearing a black tank top and black skinny jeans, was at the edge of the stage singing at us. I'm gonna start crying, hold on a second. And he made eye contact with my bitch ass and started doing this too. For a split second, Joe Jonas knew who I was. For the next week and a half, I was just vibrating. God, the song's great. It got like 8 million views in 12 hours because it slaps. Everybody loved Nick. It was the mainstream choice. It was a little bit more alternative to want Joe. Joe was like, I'm turning 25 in literally 2 weeks, Jesus. But Joe was a little bit more like badass, like, country boy, I love you. If you're wondering if I've always been the level of disaster Pisces that I am now, yes, except I used to be worse. I was super active on fanfiction.net in the Jonas Brothers tag. I'm gonna end the video. I never wrote anything. I didn't have an account. I just read everything. Everything. Every conceivable thing. These eyes need bleach. Thank you for watching this video. If you would like to interact with me betwixt uploads, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at NisiPizza. And I also have a second channel called Extra Nisi Pizza that I will link in the description where I post music and covers. Thanks again for watching, guys, and don't forget to use code NISA for 10% off at your local nostalgia store. Bye! High heels, red dress. I got JB with me, laying it down. Come on, boys, bring the chorus around.